hold on, Rod. I gotta get off. I just got a
Okay.
DM. I'm sorry. Let's go to
Uh-oh.
line 7. No. Come on through, cornbread. Omar
Word.
Miller in Los Angeles is on the line. You better
Oh,
stop
snap.
playing with me.
Experience Karen Hunter in a completely different way. Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're gonna love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of the Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. Check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed in that I'm doing. Because I see the blueprint. Because the blueprint can be followed in any industry. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
And he's so intentional. Like it's like and being
part.
intentional matters so much. And to see and he's not like rub your face in it intentional. It's just when you interview him, you see, oh no, you was thinking about every single aspect of the screen. Okay, all right. So whatever I took from it, you meant for me to take that. Thank you.
Correct. There's a lady named Ellie Way. She's unmelanated. She tweeted, I don't know if Ryan Coogler intended this, though I feel that he must have on some level. Did you see this tweet?
Yeah, right before we came on.
Okay. But sinners left me with a real sense of grief over the disconnect I feel from my cultural heritage. I'm a white American, and I have no idea where I came from. I have no cultural roots to draw from. My past is just empty.
Did you see
So
the reply?
Yeah, somebody said, so you ain't see the Klan in the movie? But see, you know what,
That's cold. That's cold, man.
Yeah. So I felt her because yesterday I had a caller because I asked for it. I asked for somebody to call up, and he still didn't answer my question. But I'm challenging people who identify with this made up construct of whiteness,
right?
To do exactly what she's doing. Ask yourself why.
Yeah.
Are you Irish? Are you Italian?
It was cold that they
Yeah.
picked her when she was down like that. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
Like it's
Yes.
funny, but it's kind of cold. Y'all ain't had to do her. Like y'all knew what she was trying to say.
But I'm saying, why identify with the Klan? And I'm
Right.
glad that Ellie didn't identify with the Klan.
Yeah, of course.
She's like, that ain't me. Them ain't my
Right.
people. I'm not identifying with that. And I'm saying, in this era where everybody's trying to remove books and stuff, well, not everybody.
Yeah.
Trump and his people and the daughters of Knuckle Dragon, Liberty, and all of the stuff, trying to remove books because it makes their children feel bad. Why do you raise your children to identify with the Klan, with the colonizers, with the rapists, with the genociders? Why not?
Right.
Why not tell them the different? Yeah.
My question for her is twofold. The first, there's 2 points. The first point is I actually love that Ryan Coogler didn't put the cool white people in it. I'm not saying that I like movies that do that. There's a time and place for that. I like that this wasn't about that. It wasn't like, and here's the white people on the Underground Railroad. It was like, no, that they weren't part of this story. But the second thing is, it's interesting she chose to say she couldn't relate, because the characteristics in those characters are universal characteristics. They are not black only characteristics. Bravery is a universal characteristic. Spirituality is a universal characteristic, right? Like you don't have to. I don't know nothing about hoodoo, but I was looking at one me like, right. Oh my God, I right. feel that's my auntie, so you don't have to be black to understand. Even when you talk about moonshine or being a gangster, that's not a black only thing. Music is not black only, like as evidenced by them doing that damn jig. Like it's not. So there's stuff to identify with. You don't have to come at it from a cultural, racial angle. You won't identify with it the same as a black American. But honestly, it's about damn time we had something. So let us have this one, and you can go watch any Wes Anderson film you want, and you'll get the vibes.
Right. That part. But it is sad because whiteness is a made-up construct that is it forces people into a criminal enterprise and forces them to defend it, right? If you want to be a part of it. And that's a hell of a thing for the majority of people in this country to have to align themselves with the Trail of Tears and enslavement and all. Like, why should they have to fly a Confederate flag? When you look at a Trump rally and you see a Confederate flag, like you fought what 90% of the people out there that lost their lives during the Civil War fighting for enslavement didn't own anybody. So they're fighting. So you're telling me you and your people fighting to want to own somebody? Like, is this who you are? Like, at some point, there's got to be a reckoning on this narrative, and you're fighting to preserve your whiteness. when DNA wise, ask the South Africans.
Yes.
There's a Skin. I talk about this movie Skin. Sophie Okonedo plays a girl born into a white family, but she turned out looking like you because the DNA. I learned that in biology, 10th grade.
Right.
Recessive versus dominant, which is why this whole notion of an Aryan master race makes no biological sense. And every scientist that's out there talking about it, your DNA will always fight you.
Right.
Silly rabbits.
Might as well be talking about phrenology or whatever. But it's so interesting because what I mean is the limits of her imagination, because her mind is trapped in whiteness. So she's like, I can't identify with this. And the reason I pointed out this specific way is because as Black people, all of us understand. We've all had to watch stories we weren't part of, and we identified. Every single one of us. We watched a story that didn't have a place where they put Black people in it, and we walked out of there and we still found ourselves.
Hold on, Rod. I gotta get off. I just got a DM. I'm sorry. Let's go to line 7. No. Come on through, Cornbread. Omar Miller in Los Angeles is on the line. You better stop playing with me, sir.
What's happening?
What's up? Hello.
Oh, you know.
I may never be a filmmaker, but he inspires me to be even better at the thing.
How are things?
Listen. I'm sorry you got like that, but you went too far to the bathroom. Why you ain't just go around to the? How you go all the way?
There was no answer. If you go outside the juke, they got you either way it goes.
Yeah, well, that's true. But then you ain't had to come back and get the people like that. Talk about, can we just all get along? I said, man, why are you trying to get the people got?
How many takes did they give you?
That's why.
How many takes did they give you? Did you improv any of that, like getting back in stuff? Because that seemed real fun.
It was a lot of fun, and I improv a lot of it. But Ryan's writing is so solid that he had the essence of what we were trying to do. So I just stayed within that with the improv. But if you look at it from a symbolic and a metaphoric standpoint, Delroy, I did a lot of my presses go around with Delroy Lindo, the fabulous thespian. And he described the film in this great way is that it's a film about a vibrant community that gets infiltrated by outsiders and then turns on itself. And you see what it is. And like my character is a catalyst because once he comes back and he's trying to get in, from that point forward, you are on the full speed roller coaster. Yes. I mean, it really picks up from that point. You see it from a metaphoric standpoint. The character is trying to get back in to do to his own people what has been done to him, which is so deep.
Omar, can you listen? First of all, how'd you end up here? You driving around? You just said I'm gonna call in to the Karen Hunter show. What did somebody tell you got to call in? What happened?
No, not at all. I listen to your show all the time. I've been listening to your show for a long time.
Omar Miller's listening. I'm so humbled right now. First of all, I fell in love with you on Ballers, right? Ballers. You were my dude. Okay.
Thank you.
And to see you in this role, I mean, I just absolutely love your humanity. It just shows it comes through in everything that you do. And even this, I didn't want Cornbread to get got like that. Your wife was pregnant. I said, oh no.
Why had to be Cornbread?
Not Cornbread. Then you, oh my goodness. All right. So I'm gonna need you to hold on because I have 11 billion questions for you. So Ron and I are just here giving out tickets, to sinners and chopping it up with the people. And then on line 7, there's a guy named Omar and Callie. And then the screener said it's Omar from Sinners, Cornbread. I was like, no way. And it's him. So crazy. Omar's sticking around. Omar Benson Miller. Shout out to his brother Terry, who's also listening. How did you get the role? And how many people did you have to audition? And were you up against a bunch of folk for this role? Because it's pivotal.
It's pivotal. And what's funny is that I actually met Coogler years ago, probably like 15, 16 years ago at the Miracle of St. Anna. I was getting an award, a Rising Star Award at the Pan-African Film Festival, and he was still in college. And he was interning at the award show, and he came up to me afterwards with my brother, with my mom, with my family, and he said, man, I love your stuff. I'm going to work with you one day. And as I'm apt to do, I was like, yeah, brother, I'll see you there. And little did I know he was about to turn into Ryan Coogler. And, he clearly turned it up between Fruitvale and Creed and Panther, and then in turn I got a call that he wanted to meet up, and so I said okay. And I walked in. He sent some materials. Everything was super high classified. They kept it all under wraps. So he sent some material, and I came in, and the first thing he did was apologize that I didn't have any audition. And I was like, man, this dude is as humble as they come. That's a part of the job. You know, sometimes I audition, sometimes I don't. That's, you know, that it is what it is. That's how the game works. But I'm capable of auditioning. And so we had the audition process in the room. He was like, oh yeah, it's exactly how I knew it was going to be. Which, you know, kind of indicated to me that there was maybe somebody else who had questions about whether or not I was the right person. And next thing I know, about 2-3 weeks later, I was on a plane to New Orleans to make the film. And man, oh man, has he become a part of my life, man. That brother, to use the vernacular, protect Ryan Coogler at all costs. He's a very righteous, solid young man.
Yes.
Are you gonna finesse your way into Black Panther 3?
That's up to him. Like, there's no finesse.
Okay.
I'm not even trying to be shy. If Ryan calls, then we on set. Count on it.
You should like, was you trying to like sneak in an African accent on set just to show him like you could do it?
The Black Panther is stripped.
Where is the craft services table?
Oh.
No, I don't know. The power of the blick is, you know, that's my man. That's my man, Forrest Whitaker. That's already there. And everybody always getting us confused anyway. So I try I try to tread lightly.
He could be.
You can play his son.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Black Panther 3.
We got to roll. Okay.
Y'all done already cast the movie.
Omar Benson Miller. When did you know? Because I'll be honest. When I saw the trailer, I was like, I'll wait for the streamers because I got 50 all of the streamers. I ain't going to the theater. People breathing on me to see no damn vampire movie. I love Ryan Coogler, but then I don't know what it was that made me like actually go get a ticket, sit in the theater, because I don't really do that. When did you know this was going to be special? Because I think a lot of us didn't know until we sat there. When did you know?
Oh no, I knew when as soon as we started filming, because you know what, Ryan creates such a special atmosphere. The dude has an athletic background and he's like a great coach. Everything is respectful, familial. I've never been on a more egalitarian set in my life. The young man knows everybody by name. It's 200 people on set. He knows every single person by name. And, he produces with his wife. He has his lifelong friends that he produces his films with. His mama came to set. I was like, okay, this dude is on to something. And then when we started to shoot and I would see the stuff that Autumn was doing, and he and I actually spoke about what the history, how he came up with the script. And we found out that we shared a bond because his family was from Mississippi and migrated to Northern California, whereas my family was from Mississippi and were sharecroppers and migrated to Southern California. And so we got on really well. And then about quarter of the way through the production, one day we were at work and Mike came up to me. He's like, hey, man, you got to come to the monitor. My knees were screaming. My feet were screaming. I was like, man, I'm cool because I don't really like to watch myself while we're filming. He's like, no, come now. All right, man. So we go over there and we watch some footage. And Mike looked at me and he said, hey, I think we got one. Now, I know Mike for like 20 years. We just never worked together. And it was around that time that I started to see the stuff that we were doing and how his vision was coming to life from the page to the screen to what we were filming. And I was like, oh, man, this is going to be something special. Then when he called me and he showed it to me, myself, Miles Caton that plays Preacher Boy, Jack O'Connell that plays Remick, and Delroy Lindo, we all sat together and watched the film. And I mean, it's the first time that I've had a film that I'm in that lands on me as if I'm not in it, like I'm in the audience. The film is beautiful. You can't tell me nothing about this one. I mean, I absolutely love this film.
Besides the scene that everybody's talking about in the juke joint and the chain gang, which I heard that was complete ad lib by Delroy Lindo, like it wasn't scripted that way. What scene for you stood out, like for the ages, besides those two?
In all honesty, the Irish jig, the Rocky Road to Dublin scene is so key. It's such a key turning point in the story. And I heard you guys speaking before, and you're spot on. All this stuff was well thought out. Ryan made sure that the vampire was Irish because the Irish people were enslaved like we were enslaved. So there's another dastardly level to the vampire that then in turn actually is luring other people through some sympathy and some empathy to the dark side. And you can go on for hours about that from a symbolic and from a metaphorical place. But we were out there that night. We had a hard time shooting this film because the juke is actually set on a bayou and there's a swamp. Alligators walked on set. There was chiggers in the ground. It was 100 degrees at night. Like this film was hard to make, really hard to make. And meanwhile, at that point, I'm there in the circle and the sun is about to come up. And we had to chase the sun to make sure that we got the shots. So Jack had to be on his game. You're watching Mike at this point playing Stack, and he's completely focused on the new joy that he has from his false past and happiness of his eternal life that he's been given from the devil, if you will. And to see everybody at the top of their game, because we didn't have a lot of time. There wasn't a lot of takes. And to watch everybody at the top of their game and to see what that meant as a transition in the film, because they're connected through the music. You know, this is why Sammy is so appealing to him. It's his natural God-given talent, the music. And you can see Remick, the vampire, is totally and completely offended when we tell him he can't come in the juke because of his skin color. He can't believe that. He's devastated because he really does believe in the music. And he really does believe in the power of the music. You know, and it's really interesting because shortly after that, this is when he goes into a shot at colonization. There's so much in the film to cover. I mean, don't even get me started because we could do a symposium on all the different stuff in the films.
We should.
Speaking back to that piece, let me get this. I'm sorry to cut you off real quick. Speaking back about that piece about you guys, how you had the pastor on. You know, when I first read the script and he was basically doing the baptism of Sammy and he drops into lockstep with him on the Lord's Prayer, that's when I read the script and I was like, okay, I need to see where this is going to go because I might not be able to do this from a personal belief standpoint. And then one of the things that I think connects with people and makes them see the film multiple times is what he says. And when he goes into the Lord's Prayer, Remick says something so powerful. He said, these were the words forced upon me by the men who stole my land and killed my people. And I hated those men, but I still find comfort and truth in their words. So it is speaking deeply about religion, about colonization, about the word of God itself. It's well worth your time if anybody's on the fence. I think the biggest thing to know is that this is not a vampire movie. There's a movie with vampires in it, but this is not a vampire movie by any means.
Yeah, I agree. What's next, man? What you got cooking on next, or are you tired of people asking that question already?
Oh, you never get tired of that. I mean, I'm of the mind that it's always better, never best. So I'm on to the next. I made a wonderful film in Italy that I'm waiting to find out when it comes out stateside because I would love people to see it. It's another actual period piece called Napoli to New York, and it did gangbusters numbers at the box office in Italy at the end of last year, but they've yet to release it yet stateside. And it, too, is a period piece that is strangely modern. And one of the things that Cougar did so expertly is we're in the 1930s for the majority of the film. We're in the 1930s Mississippi, but the film is in lockstep with relevance for today, with everything that we're dealing with today. And when I say we, I don't even just mean we as the culture, we as Black people. I mean Americans and the world.
Yeah, I mean, but
because
that's
we're in a very, very dark time.
That's how the spirit works and the ancestors work.
Amen.
I mean, when we're in alignment with it, it all becomes revelatory. And you do things today, not for today, because you're throwing yourself into the future, but you're also there's so much going on. All right.
Experience Karen Hunter in a completely different way. Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're going to love me. And Karen Hunter is awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of The Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is Awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power. A 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.